All right, Anonymous is asking, can I get a tarot reading? Will I meet an ideal lover before I go back to school this year? Thanks so much, with a heart. All right, let's give it a good shuffle. Today I'm using Shadowscapes for my readings. Now, these readings that I'll be posting today have dated back since late Friday night. I didn't feel good about that one, so we're just gonna go with that. Okay, so an ideal lover, very specific. Okay, the King of Swords. If you are looking for a person who is more of an introvert, who does a lot of thinking and internal stuff, you know, he's confident and sure of himself, but he is not very outgoing. He's more on the analytical side of things. So if that is the kind of guy you're looking to meet, I would say you definitely are going to meet an ideal lover for you this summer. But from this card, I get the sense that this is the kind of guy you're going to meet this summer. Whether that's ideal for you, that's up for you to decide. But I definitely do see you meeting somebody this summer, more on the mental, you know, he'll be clever and quick and intelligent, so that's good. Happy news. Good luck. So Anonymous is asking, hello lovely, is there any way I could get a reading? My question is, will I see JV this summer? No idea if JV is a friend or family. I'm going to assume crush, at least. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Oh dear. Oh. Somehow a reversal got in there. And I got confused. I don't shuffle reversals with this deck. So. Okay. Okay, so. Are we going to see JV this summer? Or is Anonymous, I should say. I'm not going to see JV. I don't even know who this JV character is. Okay. So we have the Nine of Swords. I think you're doing a lot of worrying and focusing on seeing JV this summer. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think you're kind of working yourself up into a tizzy about seeing him this summer. Like, you're like, oh no, what if I don't get to see him this summer? Oh no, what if I don't get to talk to him this summer? You kind of need to calm down from that and back down. If you see him, you know, you see him. If not, that doesn't mean all is lost. Just, you know, it's not as bad as you think it is. It's just kind of a scenario and a nightmare you're creating for yourself and creating unjust anxiety on the situation and the relationship between the two of you. So just relax. It's okay. Good luck. All right. So Anonymous is asking, if I cast the spell I've been thinking about, how will it work out? Thanks. I don't really know if this is a good question for tarot. I mean, I guess it is, but I'm of the feeling that you should just, if you're cautious about it, maybe you shouldn't cast it, but that doesn't necessarily why you're asking. Maybe you just don't want to waste the material components if it's not going to work out for you. Everybody has their own reasons. I'm going to shuffle upside down because this is starting to bend and it's making me unhappy. But I'm getting so sloppy with shuffling today. I bet it's because I'm just sitting so far back more than I normally do. I need to just scoot it up. right. Okay, so the Eight of Wands. This is about sowing your seeds and patience, and good things come to those who wait. So notice how he's blowing these little seeds off into the distance where they will later land somewhere and possibly grow into trees. So I think this is a good sign for your spell, but it also is going to be a sign here that this isn't going to be an instantaneous result for the spell. You're thinking you're going to have to wait, and maybe you also need to do a little more planning, be a little more careful with your wording, maybe do a little more research to make sure you get the result you're looking for. But right now you're on a good path with it. So, I mean, that's good. And you will get the result you want, but it's going to be a waiting game. It's not going to be overnight. It's going to be little by little. All right, so Woman in the Wilderness asks, Woman in the Wilderness asks, hello, thank you for your attention, and I would like a free reading answering this question. How can I be more powerful and effective in my life? So we'll see what we can come up with. That is a big, tall order for one card, but it's also a great question. And not anonymous. Not every question I get is anonymous, just half of them. Oh, good long shuffle on this one. All right. The Four of Wands. Ooh, this is a social card. This is a party card. This is a celebration. This is coming together with your friends and family. This is could be a marriage celebration, but for you, I don't think it is a sign of marriage. But it definitely does lean towards really doubling down on your social circle, and perhaps if you're really wound tight, maybe you just need to relax more, or maybe consider depending on your friends to help you out more. Don't worry so hard. Worrying all night long just makes you more tired, and ruminating on these issues, usually you're not going to come up with the answer any more quickly than if you just allot the time, do the work, and then switch off. So I would say this is more of a sign that you need to spend more time getting in touch with your creative side, relaxing, spending time with your friends, and switching off. You're very switched on, I would say, and you're just wasting effort and energy here when you could be really tapping into more creative and powerful energies by actually sitting down, relaxing, taking a deep breath, enjoying life, you know, having your friends support you and supporting your friends. Because when you're in really big times of need, it's always great to have that social circle, people you can depend on to ask you, and doing favors and hanging out with them usually is a great way to build and bond and trust. Now, don't do it with the expectation of getting things in return, but like genuinely building strong bonds usually ends up paying forward later on in life when you need it. So an anonymous user asks, hey Sophie, I was wondering if I could get a reading. I've always been interested in acting. I took classes in high school and my teachers and peers always said I was a great actress. I've been thinking of pursuing it along with what I'm studying in college. I just fear it won't go anywhere. Well, if you want to do it, you should just do it. As long as you kind of stick to whatever your day study is, yes, because that can always be your fallback plan or your more serious adult decision. And that's just coming from me. I'm just going to get that out there before I finish shuffling here. You know, there's always hobby acting in your local theater who I'm sure could always use more talented female actresses in your off time. So there's always options, but I'm going to assume you really want to do it business and for a job. and you're letting fear and anxiety take control, and you're looking for some reassurance. We will see what we can provide. Hopefully, at least some kind of morale. All right, the Four of Pentacles. This is a dragon holding his hoard close. He is, sometimes this card comes up with greed, but sometimes it also comes up when it's time to be a little bit selfish with your life. So maybe it is time for you to actually consider adding the acting to your curriculum to see where it goes. It would be something that is just genuinely for you. But I think maybe your motivations, and this card is a sign of that, is a little too focused on the money side of things. So like where I was saying, like maybe you could just consider participating in your community theater and just do it for fun. And if it ends up into something more, hooray. If not, well, at least you're pursuing something as a hobby that you really enjoy. And maybe this card is kind of a sign for you that you're kind of focusing on the wrong things with your acting career. Because right now you are studying for something else that I assume would be more stable and more likely to pay your bills, which is a problem with acting and any career in the arts, is you just never know. And if you don't hit it big, you probably are going to be poor, and poor. So it's either time for you to be selfish and just go for it, or maybe realign your motivations about what you want to do, and perhaps stop focusing on the aka the pinnacle aspect or the money aspect of acting. And do you genuinely want this? Are you willing to just do it for fun, or is it just about money for you and the glitz and the glamour and the fame? Or is that your primary goal? Because if it's just glitz, glamour, and fame, I don't think it's going to work out for you, because a lot of times when you see this card come up, it's blocked energy. And so, like, I don't think it's going to go anywhere for you if you're just focused on making tons of money and being in the tabloids and having tons of fans, where you could easily blossom if you kind of let go of that and just let things evolve organically. All right. So Anonymous has asked, hi, I was wondering if I could get a reading, tongue-tied here. If I can get my question is, will my partner and I be all right? We've both been ill in different ways, and we've argued about it. Thank you. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. Little tongue-tied today. This is my last reading also that is going to be done today. So anything submitted after this point will be recorded tomorrow or the next day. I think this request came in, I want to say on Sunday night. I want to say, but I could be wrong, because I don't have my spreadsheet pulled up right now, just the actual list of questions. Okay, I'm spending way too much time shuffling. Need to get on it. Okay, but it felt right anyway. So, okay, so the Page of Wands. Now, this is a high energy card. She's very creative. She's very alluring. She tends to attract people's attentions and is the center of attention. But she's also the page, so she represents a new energy, a kind of curiosity, if you will, in the fire suit wands. So for you, I would guess that right now things seem really good. You two are both interested in trying to make things work. So you're very much allured into each other. But again, pages are inexperienced and they often need guidance. So I wouldn't say that you guys can leave the issue alone. you guys definitely need to probably mediate and work on things. And if you guys are mentally ill, you definitely need to, on your own, for your own good, as well as for the good of the relationship, seek out help and any kind of like just therapy, or make sure you're taking your meds on time. Whatever it is, you need to be taking care of yourselves and seeking out some mediation to help foster a better relationship between the two of you. But things look good. Like, there's a lot of energy here. There's a lot of interest. Just, it's still in its infancy, I should say. And things could still easily go awry. But right now, things are on a solid track. So Anonymous has wrote in, I want to know what my gifts are and how serious they are. So I'm not exactly sure what you mean. If you mean like supernatural or paranormal or psychic, or if you just mean, I'm going to make the assumption that it is more into spiritual and woo than, I mean, I'm only human and I don't know. Like, I'm a little confused by the question because it is kind of vague. Because everybody has power. So today I'm using the Steampunk Tarot as I'm just gonna shuffle off here, but all right, so the Knight of Wands is a very active knight, very much a go-getter, almost sometimes to their own detriment. They're active, they're creative. I said active. You know, they definitely crave adventure, which, like I said, would kind of sometimes end them up in trouble because they're just constantly like, I need to go. I need to do. I need to be involved. So as to what your power would be, I would definitely say it is something along the lines of manifestation, because the wands are definitely a suit of creation and creativity and doing. It's more of a founded in the real world kind of, you know, where the swords are more of all about mental creativity and coming up with ideas, where the wands are kind of like they manifest those ideas into the real realm. So it's definitely sort of along the lines of manifestation and creating, and a strength would definitely being like you're a go-getter and very active and stuff, but definitely take a moment to think about what you're doing before you do it, because if you don't, you're going to end up in trouble because you're going faster and you're not seeing that far ahead. So I hope this helps. I hope this answers your question. It's kind of vague for me, so I'm not really sure how well I did on this one. But you're more than welcome to write back in and clarify it, and I can talk more about this card and you, or at least just maybe pull another card, as your question was kind of a little vague and I am struggling with it. I'll just go ahead and be open with that. So Anonymous has written in for this one. Hello, can I get a reading on how things will go with my current guy? Thanks. So we'll just give it a good shuffle here on the Steampunk Tarot to see how things are going between you and your guy. Hopefully well. I don't like to deliver bad news, but sometimes it's necessary, and not everybody we date is a winner. I mean, most people will date, I think, what was it, 10 times before? Something like that. I don't know. Typically, on average, you have like a couple of boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever your orientation is before you settle down. If settling down is in your life script. So here we have pulled the Page of Cups. So pages are definitely new energy, and so I'm gonna guess just from this card and your question that this is definitely a new established relationship. So maybe like you didn't just start dating, but things are definitely starting to seriously get serious now, and you're just kind of looking for a checkup here. So here we have like the plane in the background, and he's standing on a beach, and he's got a cup of wine. I mean, maybe this is a woman. Yeah, it's a woman. I mean, just the clothes leave it a little bit ambiguous. Cogs on the shirt. It's just, there's a lot going on in this image, but it kind of leaves your imagination, which is kind of what this card is about. There's a lot of wonder, sense of wonder and exploration with the Page of Cups. So things are going good, and the cups are like the emotional suit. They deal with love and relationships. So I would say things are definitely good on a go forward kind of path. You know, things are looking good going forward, I should say. I mean, we even have the jet going across, and some would say that's moving towards the past. But I mean, there's movement there that I see. So, you know, it being a Page of Cups, dealing with a relationship, I see things moving forward. You know, there's no indication here that anything in the near future should be turning sour. Now, I will flip over to the bottom for the shadow card to kind of see, like, if you want to keep things going forward, maybe a little bit of advice, where we have, again, the Page of Wands. So, as your shadow card, I would definitely say that you definitely need to keep active, keep on your toes with this relationship. Don't, like, settle or get, not restless, but the word I'm looking for is stagnant. Well, no, not exactly stagnant, but you definitely want to continue being active in the relationship. Don't start taking your partner for granted. And as he has a bionic arm here, you definitely want to, you know, find ways to improve the relationship. And obviously, I would say by the fact that you're getting this reading, one could even assume that you're kind of trying to proactively stay ahead of things if they're going to go bad. So, you know, definitely keep an effort right now to keep things fresh, keep things interesting, you know, with the creativity and sense of wonder. You definitely want to keep things lively, fresh, and youthful, and stick in that honeymoon phase as long as possible to foster a long-term relationship. And again, this is a page, so I really get that fresh new energy here, and you're in that really beginning honeymoon stage, so there's all this like love, and it's just sickly sweet. You're joined at the hip. You're driving your friends crazy probably, because just all you could talk about is your new guy. And that's great, because that's normal, that's healthy to a degree. I mean, it will slump off naturally, because you've got to go back to the real world and come off cloud nine a little bit. But right now, you're definitely going to want to soak up those vibes. Definitely keep things active and interesting. Don't give it all away. And I don't even mean it like in a sexual sense. Like, leave a little bit of sense of wonder about yourself and a little sense of mystery running, and let things come out over the course of time. Don't try to artificially push the relationship forward into a mature stage than you're already in now. Just kind of let things naturally evolve, because you want to prolong that honeymoon stage right now. Okay, so we have a long anonymous question right now from JB, or they've initialed themselves as JB. And it says, "Hi, can I get a reading on me and D? He's the first guy that I actually spent time with, and I have a feeling that my friends don't like him. I've never thought I would be in a situation like that. Now, I know how some people feel, and it sucks because I want everyone to be cool. But as of now, me and him are just low-key. If people find out, they find out. But we're not necessarily hiding it, but I'm not bringing it up either. Would me and him even last? If we don't, would we still be good friends?" Now, that is a big ask, because my free readings are only one card, and those kind of don't really tie into each other either. So I'm just going to pull the one card and kind of see what comes up. And I'm going to focus mainly on if you guys are going to last the long run, because if you guys aren't really going to last very long currently at your current rate, then there's really no need to worry about what your friends are thinking or trying to fix that situation, because definitely it is important to have your friends at least respect your relationships. They may not like your partner, and they don't have to, because that is your partner, not theirs, but they do need to respect you and respect your partner and be able to tolerate them to some degree, because you will be at parties and stuff together eventually. But obviously this is a newer relationship, but this is definitely a thorn in your side, and so we'll see what we can get with this first card here. So the Six of Pentacles. Okay, so obviously because the scales here, this is about balance, give and take in cycles. You know, you're gonna give, you're gonna. So I would say that I need to gather my thoughts on this one, because there's a lot going on with this, and with your friends, it kind of. I'm so sorry. Normally I don't have to think about it this hard, but my nose is like itching at the same time, so it's like, oh my god. So JB, you and D, I think you two are gonna be stuck in a cycle, definitely from this kind of thing. I don't get the sense from the Six of Pentacles that it will last in the long run. I get the sense that the relationship is going to be an uneven one. Because here we have the lady, and she's carefully balancing out everything, and these kids are just like begging, like, please, please, just give us something, like, and she's just too caught up in the little details here, making sure everything's perfect, and everything's even, and everything's fair. And, you know, in a relationship, you can't get kind of caught up in those little details. Like, everything should be fair, but you can't have everything be exactly equal, and if you get too caught up on those tedious details, it tends to cause animosity and problems. And so right now, your friends don't like D, and that is obviously causing a problem here, and there's a disbalance with your relationship already, because you're really focused on the fact that your friends don't like them, and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do, and are we even going to last? You really need to kind of focus on the bigger picture here, instead of these tiny details that you're trying to weigh out and make sure everything's fair and even. You know, is D really a good, you need to ask yourself, I'm tripping up over my words. You need to ask yourself, is D really a good match for you? Don't worry about your friends and what your friends think. But at the same time, if your friends don't like him, why do they not like D? Like, that's usually a red flag situation. If your friends just blatantly don't like someone out of the blue, there's probably a reason for it. If it's just that one friend who hates everybody, then you can just toss it to the wind because they hate everybody. But if all your friends, especially the ones who typically like everybody and are very easygoing and very friendly and very outgoing, really have something out against somebody and they're like, I just really don't like that guy, there's probably a reason for it. And they're your friends, so they respect you. So they're not talking about what's wrong with it. Because they probably do have a sense that you probably are hooking up with D on some level, and you two are digging on each other. And they, you know, they're your friends, so they want to be nice, and maybe they're hoping, like, this will all blow over, because you'll see how D really is real quick, and then he'll be a thing of the past. So maybe you need to stop and kind of weigh the situation, if you will, and ask, you know, yourself, why do my friends hate D? Is this just some weird blind hate? Did they get a really bad first impression? And you need to be really honest about that. Is it really truly a bad first impression? Or does D have some really annoying habits that you've kind of blinded yourself to because you're really into him, because he's either really hot or he was really charming for you? And later on down the line, those habits are going to become a problem, because the honeymoon's going to wear off and you're going to notice those habits more, while your friends are noticing them now as the problem that they are. So, I mean, I would say just because the cards are kind of pointing towards you really need to evaluate things, put some things into balance and perspective here. Because we even have the light shining in, and, you know, you can focus on just like this part of the picture or just this part of the picture, you know, and it's really like, those kids' clothes, they're kind of nice, but they're down on the floor begging. So are they poor, or are they just being overly greedy? And, you know, the same for her. Like, it's all a perspective thing with this. And so you kind of really need to put your relationship in perspective. And since my cards are kind of really like wanting to talk about perspective with you and really stopping and thinking about the situation and weighing your options here, I would almost say that you, in the long term, you and Dee probably are not forever. But there's probably a lesson here you can learn from Dee. I'm not saying you should break up with Dee. And obviously there are more things at play. You know more about the relationship. You know more about why your friends don't like Dee. But I would say it's probably not meant to be forever. But if the relationship is good and healthy right now, after you spend some time really thinking it over, then just enjoy it for what it is, and, you know, you'll be fine. I hope this helps.